What would you call the way Frankenstein's monster walks?
Oh, lurching.
Okay. Well, you lurch and you lurch to catch up with the search, but you're sinking. Welcome to Pink Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name is Gareth Blackley's Monster, and joining me is James Barron's Monster.
Hi, it's James Barron's Monster, or James Barron Frankenstein, as the case may be. Character in the film, Frankenstein. Hello, I'm here.
Hello. You are here.
Yeah.
Get used to it. Yes, so we watched 1931's Boris Karloff, directed by James Whale.
James
which is
Whale.
An amazing name.
Solid name.
Yeah. That sounds like something I would make up if I was trying to tell someone a lie at the aquarium.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my name's James Whale.
Yeah, did you know that this whale wrote Frankenstein? Crazy. He directed it. That's a big old director.
That's why there's a scene near the lake, because it was the only way to get him in there.
Just on location, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. James Whale.
What did you think of this film?
I loved it. I'd not seen Frankenstein before. Everybody
Never.
knows old Frankenstein or his bloody monster in the story of. Main exposure was through the terrible / great movie Van Helsing.
I haven't thought about Van Helsing in so long.
Van Helsing. No, I think about Van Helsing all the time. It lives rent free in my mind. But had not seen it before. It's a classic cinema. I think you've taken the oldest film on record that we've covered on the show award, Gareth. It's a really specific trophy, but you've won it bloody by rights. Good on you, mate. It was really cool. Going back that far in cinema history, what did you think?
Seeing how different movies were.
Yeah, man. Just in terms of structure.
Yeah. This movie was very short, and I reckon it was heavily edited because, they didn't have a standard censorship board at that point. So, I think different states could have their own local censors, so they all had to weigh in, and I think a lot got chopped out of this film.
Yeah.
And some weird stuff got added in as well.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, because the story in this was actually not what I was expecting from the typical Frankenstein story. There are some twists and turns that I was definitely surprised by. But it follows the same beats. All the Frankenstein-y stuff happens, but there's also just other stuff going on that seems weird. But we'll get into it.
Yeah. Had you read the Frankenstein book by Mary Shelley?
Absolutely not. I have not done that. No prior knowledge on Frankenstein.
I thought I had, but I've read the Wishbone version of Frankenstein.
That's so much better. That's the time-traveling dog and his friend, right? Wishbone?
Wishbone, no, I think you're thinking of Mr. Peterson or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah, I am.
Wishbone was a live-action dog who loved books.
Fair.
And he had a TV show, and every episode of the TV show, he found a way to relate his dog drama to a classic novel, and then it would cut to the classic novel, but the main character is being played by a dog.
Wow.
It was such a good show. I think about it all the time.
That's great. So there was just all these ancient historical figures and also old stories just represented through the medium of dog.
Yeah, just one dog as well. To be I think the scientist Frankenstein was played by the dog, and then the monster was
just a human?
A man. And it was love interest and stuff for all humans.
That's so much weirder. Oh my god, okay. It's weird that there's only one character that's a dog. It would be better if every character was a dog. I think that I'd be more okay with it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's that kind of specificity that bothers me about media like this. I get really entrenched into the way things work involving magic dogs. It's a fun fact about me.
You think about Blues... I've heard you talk about Blues Clues and Skidoo they do quite a lot.
Don't drop me down that rabbit hole, man, because I'll never come back out again. I'll blue skidoo right into that, and you'll never see me again. If anyone craves blue skidoo discourse, hit me up on Twitter. but we can't do that. We've got a show to do, bud. Even if it
Yes,
is going to be
yeah.
a short ep, probably, because we've got a shorter movie, about an hour 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
not a full Floyd epic several times over. No Avatar length going on here.
No, this one ended just at the start of the second round of Us and Them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
plenty
short.
of Floyd, but still still not as much as we're used to. So
That's like more like a reasonable amount of Pink Floyd. Like if you listen to that much Pink Floyd in a week, you'd be like, yeah, I'm a fan of Pink Floyd.
Yeah, sure. I listen to an album and a half of Pink Floyd a week. Yeah, sure. That's like a normal amount.
Yeah. Not us.
No. We've got a job
Quick
to do.
check-in, has listening to this album over and over again changed how you listen to other albums yet? Like, do you get the urge to just keep listening to the same thing?
Kind of. I feel like I've always kind of had that, and that's why I'm okay with doing this podcast, and that I will
Yeah, same.
do an album to death and listen to it over and over and over again anyway. So, but usually not to this extent. This is definitely the furthest we've ever gone.
Yeah.
Music and I, but So, yeah, take it or leave it, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
still keen on Pink Floyd, still enjoy the album, still think it's a bloody banger front to back.
Same.
Still all posy vibes on the pod still.
Well, the 1931, when this movie came out, this was a time where pop culture was kind of living what we do, that they just loved repeating songs. The top song of the era was called Good Night, Sweetheart.
Okay.
And it was number one for 2 months.
Wow.
During, and including the time when Frankenstein came out.
Cool.
And then it was knocked off the charts by a cover of Goodnight Sweetheart.
Yo.
How good is that?
Wow. People
Yeah.
were like, you heard this new fresh take on Goodnight Sweetheart, that song everyone knows and loves?
I listened to them and they sound really similar as well. It's not even like a new like twist.
Maybe they made a mistake and just accidentally thought that was the old version again. They're just like, oh yeah, the people want to hear this, right? Well, we've got it here. And everyone's like, no, play the old one that we love. Oh,
Yeah.
true tragedy.
Well, they just slipped the original into a different like vinyl disc and were like, yeah, it's a brand new song for you guys.
Mate, the original remix, just chopped and screwed. The old classic 1931 jams. Amazing.
Speaking of chopped and screwed, this is a movie about a man who... the
Well,
human equivalent of chopping and screwing and remixing in a way, right?
I guess so. Yeah, he's an amalgam of a man, a creature. Yes. Shall we dive into his life and times, Gareth?
I wish it was called The Life and Times of Frankenstein.
It would be way better, right? It's a lot more
Yeah.
wholesome.
It suits the movie actually really well, considering it is just mostly concerned with the reputation of the last name Frankenstein.
True. Very true.
Yeah, which, is a name that went very far out of favour after this whole bringing back the dead kind of thing.
Yeah. Wait, so there were people named Frankenstein before this? There was just a regular ass name?
I don't think so. I know I was reading about Mary Shelley, who, by the way, was 19 when she wrote this book.
Holy crap, talent.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. She's like the Tyler, the Creator of her. She's the Billie Eilish of her era.
I love that. Oh my gosh. She's the bad guy. Yeah. Wow.
And I think there was a whole thing in her thing about how she came up with the name Frankenstein. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't a popular name.
Okay.
But either way, yeah.
Definitely Germanic in origin, because there's a lot of German vibes
Yeah.
throughout the film. So yeah, they lean into that. But anyway.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Frankenstein and name, I think people have tuned into this podcast to hear us decide the definitive, and especially before we discuss the film in length, the definitive naming convention for Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, etc.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Well, there's Doc Frankenstein, old Doc Frankenstein. Yeah. There's also Baron Frankenstein, and then Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
Baron Frankenstein.
And in a way, Doc Frankenstein, it being the son of Baron Frankenstein and being the true monster, is in
Yeah,
his own way Frankenstein's monster.
it's true. It's so complicated. I think we're going to
Yeah.
go with tradition here and say that there's Frankenstein's monster, separate entity. There's going to be Dr. Frankenstein as his own dude, who may or may not be a monster, but he already had an existing title, so we'll stick with that one.
Yeah.
And then Baron Frankenstein is floating out in the ether, just collecting various wines. That's
He's probably the monster. He was a lame dude.
Yeah, he's concerned with basically one thing and not much else. And yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of Baron Frankenstein, but
No.
that's all right.
Another option would be the lyric that plays when we first see Frankenstein move his hand is "So They Say," so we could call him "So They Say."
Yeah, we could.
You don't love it?
I don't love it. I'm glad that we have options, though.
Yeah.
What about we call one of them Frankie? How about that?
Yeah.
The
I like
monster's Frankie.
The monster's Frankie.
Yeah, regardless. Okay.
I am now picturing Frankie magazine, which is a
Yes.
very wholesome hipster magazine in Australia and New Zealand. But like all the gals in their like nice American apparel clothes are all Frankenstein's monsters.
Very good. I just
Yeah.
want to start my own rival magazine called The Wholesome Hipster.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just like the most arcane cover. It's like it comes in tweed only, the whole magazine.
Oh, the sound of that page turning.
Yeah. It's very grippy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Before we go much further, should we just dive on into the meat and potatoes of Pink Floyd's prime succulent content, Gareth, and
Yeah. The brain of our stitched together body.
the criminal's
Finding
brain that we share.
Let's do it. How did Frankenstein 1931 sync with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon?
3, 2, 1, go. Speak to me, baby. It's classic times. Here we go. I do love that this film starts with a little warning from the character. Is it Walford? Comes out and tells us. He's like,
Ooh,
it's like
I
it's
didn't
a.
realize he showed up again.
I think it's the same guy. I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong. But yeah, he comes out and gives us a wee friendly warning. He's like, don't get too spooked, audience.
Yeah. You're allowed to leave if you get too spooked.
Yeah, this one's gonna be an oogie boogie. you need to relax. I wish more films started this way. I guess there wasn't the parental advisory board kind of thing existing at the time, and they just had to do this at the top of movies that were gonna be ooky spooky,
Yeah. I don't know. It reminds me a lot, like, I didn't realize the old Simpsons Halloween episodes used to always do this as well. Start with Marge coming out from behind a curtain the same way and saying it was going to be scary.
Nice.
And
It's
that's
probably
one of those things I didn't realize would be a reference.
yeah, probably a direct call out to this. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie they were definitely just concerned it would be too scary.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was involved, they were worried, and even the reviews when they came out, people were scared of this movie.
Oh man. I mean,
Yeah.
it was probably quite shocking for the time, right? Like, what other
Heck
scary
yeah.
stuff had come out before this? Not that much that
Yeah,
I
I
can
think
think of.
Dracula and then a couple, European things like Nosferatu.
Okay, yeah. So they
Yeah,
weren't used to
but-
seeing it. People got scared at a train as the first thing on the cinema thing. It's just like a
The
train
train
coming.
that comes to the camera?
Yeah, they were like,
I love that story.
I'm gonna get run down by a goddamn train. I'm gonna get out
They
of this
fit a
theater.
train in this cinema.
How they do that? How they getting up there on that big screen? I don't know why all these attendees are like hicks for some reason, but whatever. Yeah, so I do like that this little intro bit plays over Speak to Me, and we just have the heartbeats ramping up as he's given us the warning. He's like, oh, I can feel my heartbeat racing underneath this as I'm amped to get spooked.
Yeah, it was really nice. And also the fact we were watching a man speak to me.
Yeah,
during
true.
Speak to Me.
Very good, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Great point. There's not a lot of speaking to me at the start of the film, usually. I'm usually just hype about seeing space or something like that, but yeah, that's a sync right off the bat. So,
Oh, yeah.
nice one, Frankie. So we get Breathe kicking in as the title card is on screen. There's like that hangs on screen for a really long time, and then we've got like the opening credits as well with all the different characters. But like the background of this is like a bunch of swirling eyes, which is awesome.
And it goes quite well. Like it would be your Windows Media Player loop.
Oh yeah.
During Breathe, it's really nice.
Yeah, I don't think this has anything to do with Frankenstein, but I do love it as a visual. Yes. Quick shout out to James Whale for directing it. Good on him. And also, the monster is credited to ? Here in the intro as well. We don't know who that monster is. They just got a real ass monster in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I love when movies do this. I think one of the like bad Hannibal movies does it as well. It just doesn't credit one of the main actors.
Bad Hannibal. In case you didn't know. Oh my gosh, I love it.
What if that was how I differentiated movies with Hannibal Lecter and movies starring Hannibal Buress?
That would be good. I mean, Hannibal Buress also kind of bad. Kind of a nasty landlord man these days.
Really?
Yeah, shout outs to you, Hannibal. You need to reel it in, mate.
Whoa, I had no idea. I thought he was...
Yeah,
I don't know who's... I mean, obviously the serial killer's the bad one, but...
He, like, bought a bunch of property and started renting it out to people and then just complains all the time about bad tenants. And it's like, come on, man.
Wow.
Have some chill.
That's very tone deaf in this, like, day and age.
Yeah. Anyway, he may have gotten better since then, but that's the last I heard of old Hannibal. Anyway, the movie starts out with some folks attending a funeral. It's like quite a weird looking set where everyone's gathered in the graveyard, right? There's like a spooky skeleton gravestone.
Yeah.
And the goddamn like clergyman here is carrying this enormous like censer / lantern thing. It looks like a weapon out of Dark Souls, this thing. Like a huge bludgeon that I have to face off against this cleric man in some kind of boss fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about him. I just was real into that at the top of the show. But yeah.
Your like gaming hands just started twitching. You were like, I gotta take this guy down.
My instincts took over and I just punched through my laptop screen.
Oh no. That's not even how you play video games.
It is on Dark Souls. So the doctor is here. Old Doc Frankenstein is here, and his assistant. They're watching from like outside the gate, waiting, biding their time, and everyone just sort of trails off at the end of the funeral. There's a fair bit of crying and carrying on as you do.
Yeah.
You know, classic funeral vibes. And then there's like a grave digger.
Oh, yes, there's a gravedigger.
Starts setting up, and that he starts doing his thing, digging a hole over dig that hole. Get the sun. He's after that sun.
I wrote that in full caps and scrawled it bigger than... It pretty much took up most of the page when I saw that happen. I was so excited.
Yeah, man. Not only that, this gravedigger continues on with the sinks, in that he lights up a wee pipe. And it's race towards an early grave as well. Nicotine kills, kids. Look out. Don't smoke that tobacco.
Oh, no.
It's a very preachy podcast this time. And then, he just like heads home over on the run. But he
heads home when they say when at last the work is done.
Yeah, man. Shout out to this gravedigger for crushing the sinks. Like, he got 3 in, like, the span of, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then he just walked away and waited until Cocoon came out so he could sink some more.
The same guy?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That rules. Then we've got, the doctor comes out with his assistant, and they get amongst. They start... digging up this coffin to get a body for their experiments. And they take it away on a little cart, which is very weird. They also grab another guy. They come across a guy who's just like hanging from the gallows, and there's a sequence where the assistant guy like climbs up and cuts him down with a knife. Yeah, they're like collecting all this stuff. Unfortunately, the brain of this character that was strung up is useless because the neck was
Yeah.
broken and it's all messed up. So all they're missing is a brain anyway. Pretty dire at the start of the movie here.
Yeah, I was really excited because I knew this was a short film and I knew that it was gonna, like, I saw it start pretty much halfway. Like, they're already digging, they've almost finished the body. We're not getting any, like, backstory that proves why he wants to do it so much.
Yeah,
so I was
true.
like, oh, yeah, this is gonna be so fast and, like, action-packed.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. But,
We do get some rationalization coming up for what he's doing,
yeah,
but it's just
for
like,
sure.
it's still weird. But yeah, they need to get a brain as the next step. A cut to the medical college, Gareth.
Oh, yes.
University. Magnum cum corpse or something. I don't know. And yeah, we're here watching a doctor talking away. I think this is our what's his name, Mel something. I wrote it down later.
Yeah. He's Frankenstein's actual, like, mentor as well, right?
Yeah, his peer and
Yeah.
and equal scientist type. And yeah, he's given a wee lecture about the difference between regular brains and criminal brains,
Yeah.
which is super not a thing.
No, not at all. And he's, like, pointing at different bits of them to be like, ah, yes, a criminal.
It's kind of wild that they would portray a university and have them just saying this insane stuff. I bet you there were so many people that would have believed this at the time or
Oh,
heard
yeah.
about it from this movie and been like, that's just how the brain be, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, it's also so weird that he's just like, and here is a perfect brain.
Yeah. It's a perfect
I
brain.
think he's in love with this brain.
I mean, fair enough. It's
Yeah.
better than this worthless criminal brain where it's just, all messed up on crime.
You do one
Diminished.
crime, a whole new lobe grows in your brain.
Yeah.
It keeps going.
I feel like it's like other parts of your lobes just fall off and shrivel away, I think.
Yeah.
With rotted away by crime.
That's how police solve most crimes, is they follow the bits of lobe back to the criminal's hideout.
Gross. Oh, man.
And that's real science. Don't fact check us.
That's real science.
Yeah,
I've just...
unlike this fake science.
Yeah, it's bloody ridiculous. All the clocks go off here as well.
Yes.
Amid lecture. Unfortunately, it's not like the end of the lecture, like the bell going off and everyone having to go. I wish it were.
Oh, he says, thank you, gentlemen, this class is dismissed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
Nice.
yeah, he doesn't quite dismiss them on exactly the right time.
Yeah, maybe, he's just slow to react, as
Yeah,
often
I think
lecturers are.
these gentlemen wanted to learn a little more than, like, most high school movies.
Yeah. All the students seem like quite enthused by this lecture anyway. They're all like looking stoked as they leave, having a good old time.
It's very funny that he's just leaving the two brains just sitting there
Yes.
in case anyone else wants to look at them.
Yeah, well, come by after class, have a wee peek at this criminal's brain, draw a picture, take a Snapchat for your mates. I don't know.
A selfie for brain.
Yeah, how often are you going to get to do that?
Exactly.
Yeah, anyway, it leaves and locks the door, and our friendly Igor type character, he has a name coming up, but I haven't written it down at this point.
He's Fritz.
Fritz, that's right. He does a wee sneak in. He's on his master's
so
mission.
Funny.
He's creeping away, and swipes a brain, but he gets spooked by a scary skeleton. Who is
Like a skeleton is just hanging there, right? Or does it drop down? My memory says it drops down, but I
yeah,
think it's
so
wrong.
it's like attached by its skull to the ceiling, but it's like on like kind of a bungee cord kind of apparatus, and so he like knocks into it, and it starts like lurching up and down in a terrifying manner.
Yeah.
And Fritz sees this, is like, oh crap, and he drops the brain. The jar of brain, and it smashes on the ground, destroying a perfect brain, Gareth.
Yeah.
Such a shame. So he must resolve, he's like, I know, I'll do an old Fritz's trick and take this criminal brain. Luckily, there are two brains here in the room.
Ah, Phil. Second brain.
Yeah. Also, presumably, Fritz doesn't read that it's a criminal brain, just takes it, and it's like, sweet. Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love this bouncing, terrifying medical skeleton in the room. More, so it's like dead center in the lecture hall. What's more,
Did they have to build this lecture hall around like an old-fashioned fun house? Or like spook house?
many spooks. Yeah, this skeleton came with the building. It's it's the man who built it donated his skeleton.
He put
We
himself
found him
in
in one of the
bungee cord and
walls.
waited.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Oh, oh my lord. But yes, we cut now to young Elizabeth, the future Mrs. Frankenstein,
Yes.
who's chilling with another character named Victor Moritz, who's
Very confusing because in the book and like in most Frankenstein stuff, it's Victor Frankenstein.
oh my
And,
gosh,
Yeah, they've renamed him Henry for some reason.
yeah.
And added a different, hotter Victor for his fiance to hang out with.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Victor. Like, he's just a guy who exists in this movie to ask questions of various characters to
Yeah,
drive the
we all
plot
need them.
forward. But boy, does
Yeah.
he look great. He's got a like pencil thin mustache.
Oh, yeah.
And he just is hanging out. He just wants to see what's going on, you know? She's very concerned about her husband, as you say,
Yeah.
Doc Frankenstein, who's
Mainly-
abandoned his
Yeah.
post at the university and is working out in the old windmill, and yeah, just trying to get life to happen. It's like she's like, he's working really hard, and I know that he's cares a lot about his work, but I'm worried, Victor. And Victor's like,
Yeah.
I'm worried too, girl.
Which is fair because I think she says she hasn't seen him in like 4 months.
Yeah. She like
Yeah.
it's typical scientist stuff, I suppose. But yeah,
Yeah.
she kind of wants to know what's going on with these experiments that are keeping him away, because they are due to be married, and she's like, I just want to know why you're working so hard, boy. Victor says that he saw old Doc Frankenstein in the woods, and he was real cagey about what he was up to with his experiments. He was like, oh, he's acting real weird. He wouldn't tell me anything that he was up to. We should go see what's going on. And so, yeah, Elizabeth resolves to go with Victor to check it out. They go to the university to talk with the guy who was talking about brains, the same guy.
Yeah. Brain guy.
Rain Man. Brain Man, much like Rain Man. Yeah, so they do that. They go and see him, and he's talking about Dr. Frankenstein is chasing his ambitions to create life. That's his main move. He needs fresh bodies to complete his work, and they're like, that's fine. You know, like animals, like rats and things, you know, bring them back to life. That'll be chill. But the university man's like, no. He needed human bodies, which is pretty sketch, you know?
Yeah. Weird that he just knows all this as well.
Yeah, he would have like signed the reports or something or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, it got Frankenstein kicked out of the university, or he left of his own accord because they couldn't
Yeah.
approve his work, and so he's now operating out of this windmill. As you do.
Yeah.
The guy is not really keen to come along with Victor and Elizabeth here, and then he's like, all right, I guess. He sort of just tags along to find out what's going on. And then, we get the line at the end of time, far away across the fields, as we see the windmill, the old Frankenstein workshop up on the hill. Looks great. Love this set. Well, this like painting of a windmill. Anyway. The Fritz and the Doc are preparing for their work to begin. They're getting everything in order. They've got all kinds of machines set up, and we're going into great gig as they're getting things set up. The Doc starts talking about the electrical secrets of heaven, which I really love. He's getting,
Is this when he talks about light, or is that like?
that's coming up.
Yeah.
But he's real horny for the storm that's coming. He's very excited. and he unveils the head of the monster to Fritz, and he's like, that's this brain that you stole from me, boy. It's in there. Great work, young Fritz. And yeah, Fritz is sweet. He's happy about that.
Fritz is a weird dude, eh? Because he's he's not quite the Igor we know. He's like the proto-Igor.
Yeah.
Because Igor there was no Igor in the book or anything, so like Igor is something that's kind of grown through public imagination.
Yeah, he's got the like some archetypal things that Igors have. He's got the hunch going. He's sort of got like a bowl cut, which I feel like could be part of it. Bad hair, anyway, is definitely part of it.
Yeah.
And a man of few words. These are my Igor statistics that he's racking up.
This is your like stand-up thing. It's like, if your man's got a hunchback,
your man's got a hunchback and a penchant for whips, you might have an Igor.
And everyone goes crazy except for the Igors in the audience. Like, oh, he's got us again.
I just get whipped mercilessly after every show. Oh no.
Yeah, they find you outside of the club and they just like wave fire near you.
Yeah, there you go. I just am backed into the club, and that's where I live. That's why I keep going back on stage.
Yeah.
I'm trapped there by 1,000
Only place
Igors.
you're safe from all your hated Igors.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my haters. So we got we check on the electrics and stuff. They're firing them all off, preparing for the thunderstorm that's coming. He says it's going to be ready in about 15 minutes. The storm is going to be at its zenith, and when there's a sudden knock at the door, and we're like, what? And the Great Gig reacts in kind. It gets to the more chill, slow down part of Great Gig.
It cool.
Woo! Yeah, as who could be at the door? It's our university doctor friend and Elizabeth and Victor, who are all here.
Yeah.
And first of all, Fritz goes down and checks them out, and he's like, "Oh, go away! The doctor will not see you." But the doctor looks out the window and sees that Elizabeth is with them, and he's like, "All right, fine, I'll let you in." He says he'll give them shelter from the storm at the very least as we get into the end of Great Gig. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and then this is so like, it feels really like wacky rom-com. Like, oh no, my wife and my teacher and my like rival are all here, and I've got to hide my dead bodies.
Yeah, you may think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
He does a lot of monologuing about whether or not he's crazy.
Yes, yeah.
Which
I don't know if that's a good sign. I think if you're doing that, this is my bad stand-up.
Yeah.
You might be crazy. You might be a mad scientist.
Yeah, he's like, crazy, am I? Well, I'll see if I'm crazy. The more times you have to question whether you are crazy, the more likely you are to be crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, he's like, fine, I'll invite you all up. You can all see what I'm up to. Come on, let's go. They all come up the stairs and see all his weird electronics and stuff. Gets everyone to have a seat, and then he starts talking about the ultraviolet ray, which I loved. I loved the idea that there is a ray of light or a spectrum of light that exists beyond ultraviolet, and that is the light that can give life to things. Potentially like God rays, the rays of God, right? Breathing light into bodies.
And in essence, he's pictured the Dark Side of the Moon album cover.
Yeah.
Where one ray of light hits the prism and turns into several. Then he's added a second prism that's turned it into this God light. Yeah,
his version of the album cover has two prisms. And it's super confusing. And then there's, at the end, on the far right, there's a small image of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of the album cover is the Doc just swimming around in money, Scrooge McDuck style.
Yeah, that's the new deluxe version of this album.
Yeah, the double...
It's going to be a nightmare to fit into your record collection.
The double-length EP.
Yeah.
Pink
Floyd put out a version of the album that's just... it goes through the album once and then goes up to Us and Them, so you can sync it exactly with Frankenstein, and they're like, yeah, it's a brand new album, guys.
Yeah, it's fine. That's sweet. It even comes with Frankenstein on the disc, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like backmasked onto it somehow. Oh, man. Yeah. But going crazy about these rays, talking about the light, it's very good. It's a great monologue.
Yeah.
It's very intense. And yeah, he's hyped.
This is again something they invented, this idea, because man, I'm bragging that I've read a Wishbone version of the book today. I'm sorry.
Oh, man, if it's given you the knowledge ready for a podcast, I don't see why you should be ashamed.
I just distinctly remembered it being the actual book, and then there's no record of this Wishbone book anywhere except for deep in Goodreads.com. And that's when I looked up and I realized it wasn't the proper book. It was a really abridged version with Wishbone stories in between.
So good. I want is for you to accidentally get one fact wrong that's specific to the Wishbone book. You'd accidentally describe one character as a dog or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually a big difference. Frankenstein never talks about his tail.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
The book says it was wagging the whole time. I just left this out.
Oh, no. That's all I want, yeah. That sounds right to me, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so the plan is to put life into this body that he's created. It never had life to begin with. It's an amalgam of other bodies that he's put together with a criminal's brain. And yeah, it's getting started with the experiment. They just sort of launch into it as Money Solo starts up. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Launches the the body into the air, up on a gurney style thing, lifted up into the storm. Classic. We don't actually get to see anything going on with Frankenstein up there. We just sort of get some flashing lights and all the witnesses sort of cowering in fear. They're going oh no, but we sort of have to believe that stuff's happening up there.
Yeah, do you reckon it was A, budget limitations, B, censorship, or D, or C, they were trying to do a Jaws thing before Jaws and just leave it to your imagination?
Probably combination of B and C if I had to choose of those options.
Yeah, I feel they would have tried to make it look cool.
Yeah.
Despite budget, so it would be a different reason.
I mean, it works. It's no problem. Special effects are kind of hard to do at this time. The electricity firing off looks bloody great, honestly. If this is real electrical charge firing through or Tesla coil kind of technology, it looks sick on the screen.
I think it is. I think they actually borrowed a Tesla coil from, if he was the estate of Tesla.
Man, that's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
Yeah, no, it looks great. So all this technology stuff, I'm buying it anyway. But yeah, he comes on back down, and as we get into the verse again, he's yelling out that it's alive. The classic line, here we go.
Yes.
It's alive. He just sort of says it over and over and over again, which I didn't realize.
Yeah, he builds it up. It's really nice.
Yeah. It's a good performance for sure, but I didn't expect him to say it 7 times.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's as we get the outro of the song also repeating in the same kind of manner. Away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sort of repeats the line away as he's saying alive. It's alive. So yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Away from being dead. I don't know.
Yeah.
Alive.
Yeah. Sweet. But yeah.
And then this scene inexplicably just ends.
That's it. Yeah.
This is when the most exciting stuff would happen. Everyone being whoa, you've made life. What are you going to do with it?
No one has any questions about any of this. It's just okay, we're good. That was that. We've done that Frankenstein bit. Now let's go and check in with his dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, we Elizabeth and Victor now go and visit Baron Frankenstein, who is this curmudgeonly old... how would you describe this dude?
A little bit... I don't know, it feels really mean. I don't mean this as anything about his weight, just his whole personality is very roly-poly.
Fair, yeah. I'm getting big Winston Churchill vibes from him, honestly. Yeah, but his dad's such a dick. He's sassing him constantly about whether he's this what is he? He's good for nothing, son. What is he doing with his experiments? Got kicked out of the university. Bloody hate him.
Yeah.
And yeah, he thinks he has another woman on the go. He doesn't think that he's
Yeah.
not up to anything untoward. He's just like, I bet he's cheating on you, Elizabeth. It's like,
Yeah.
oh. She's like, oh, okay. No, it's not why I came here, but...
Yeah. I mean, I know I would.
Another character just bloody shows up. A guy, the Burgomaster, Vogel.
Yeah.
Burgomaster, I'm pretty sure, is like the leader of the town.
Yeah.
Or like the mayor kind
I had
of
to look it
equivalent.
up because I was like, I want to be a burgomaster.
Yeah. Master of the Burg, right? Like...
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just comes in to ask about the wedding. He's just like, when's this wedding gonna happen? Presumably, Baron Frankenstein is like the big money person in the town, and so like he lives in the manor house, and everyone sort of gathers around him because he's got the
I
money.
think
And so this is like a big deal kind of wedding that's on the horizon, and so the mayor bloody comes round to check in on it. And yeah, he just sort of brushes him off immediately.
Yeah.
He's
Wish I
like,
hadn't given the mayor keys to my estate.
right? This poor
Yeah.
guy just sort of comes in. He's like, is there gonna be a wedding? And the Baron's like, fuck off. And that's it.
Pretty much.
And yeah, his whole motivation is like, I'm gonna go visit my son and tell him to stop seeing this other woman that doesn't
Yeah.
exist. But sweet, it's such a non sequitur kind of scene after coming off of Frankenstein being created, or Frankie,
Yeah.
young Frankie. Sorry. Oh man, it was whiplash for me. Really weird.
Not the movie, which was very good and tonally consistent.
Yes.
The sensation.
Oh man, but yeah, bizarre.
Yeah, so weird. I think it really shows 1930s values that it was like... I think your standing in the community was a lot more important back then.
Yeah.
Or like, it was the biggest thing to be worried about. Like, oh, you've created life, you've defied God.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as long as
Whatever.
the burgomaster doesn't find out.
Yeah, the true horror of Frankenstein is cheating on your wife.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, we cut back to the scientist lads up in the windmill doing a bit of science. Old Waldham is here.
Yeah.
Talking about this creature's dangerous. It's scary. And Henry's like, nah, it's fine. It's chill. Dr. Frankenstein, yeah, he's saying you lack ambition, Waldham. I'm going even further beyond. I've created life, so you can shut up. Like,
Yeah.
fair enough.
It would be a good way to win any argument. Like, oh yeah, I created life, so...
So
shut up.
whatever, dude.
It's
Yeah,
like I saved Latin for the 1930s.
yeah. He also says that he wishes to discover what eternity is, which is kind of wild. Like, that's the next step for him after creating life. Like, he just enters the infinite. I love it. Like, what does that mean? What does that look like to Dr. Frankenstein?
Yeah, that would be an awesome sequel, as him and Frankie, his creation, then go to the spirit realm and like
Yeah,
check
man.
that out.
That's what I hope the movie I, Frankenstein is about, but it super isn't.
Have you seen I, Frankenstein?
I have not, no.
I have seen I, Frankenstein.
Is it about
It is-
Frankenstein entering the infinite?
It pretty much is. It's buck wild.
All right.
So the idea is it's like a sequel to the hit book Frankenstein.
Uh-huh.
And it's like takes place immediately after the book ends, which the book ends very different to the movie.
Oh, real?
Because
Okay.
I've read the Wishbone version.
Yeah,
right?
whoa, hey.
And then like as soon as he's like had a chat with his with the doctor, Frankie gets visited by two demons and then
Oh.
defeats them and is visited by two gargoyles.
What? Okay.
Yeah. The gargoyles because this is all something, so I saw this movie pretty much when did it come out? Like 7 years ago, pretty much to the day. I saw it
Cool.
on Valentine's Day.
Nice.
And I had to look it up after I saw this because I was like, what was the gargoyles?
Yeah.
And yeah, then he's just like, he goes to the modern age and just
Oh.
like fights demons to help out the gargoyles.
Oh my god.
It's pretty much was the end of Aaron Eckhart being cool because Aaron Eckhart plays I, Frankenstein.
Well, there you go. Yeah, like that'll do it. Like you
Yeah.
listen to the advice from some gargoyles one time and it all goes wrong, you know? You cross the wrong demon in Hollywood and
Yeah.
it'll bite you. There you go. It's a cautionary tale, I Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
But that's not
And
the
I think,
movie. We're just doing regular Frankenstein, Gareth.
yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah. Sorry, you had more to say on that?
No, I didn't. I think they wanted it to be like an entire cinematic world, like
Wow.
that dark universe that they tried to get going with Tom Cruise fighting the mummy.
Wow, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be sweet. That would tie in? Oh my god.
I think so. I don't know.
Okay. They just find Frankenstein sealed up in an Egyptian tomb, because why not?
Yeah. He's like, oh, sorry, I followed a gargoyle in here and it tricked me.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise is like, no, Frankenstein. And that's the name of the movie, Oh, Frankenstein.
Yeah. Oh. What about an I Frankenstein franchise where it just goes through every letter of the alphabet?
There's 26 movies.
Yeah, coming up. J Frankenstein.
J. Frankenstein.
It's like a lot more loose and it's just him. It stars Cheech and Chong as well.
Oh, yeah. That sounds way better.
Yeah.
I'm back on board. Back on the franchise. I directed that one, so
Yeah.
yeah.
J Frankenstein, this summer, it's not just his skin that's green.
Too good. Oh my gosh. Let's move on.
He's scared of fire, but not scared of this blaze.
Oh no. They just keep waving joints in his face and he's like, oh no. Oh my god. But then he mellows out as the movie progresses. And it's just a chill vibe. Good times. Okay, where the hell are we?
Oh, they're talking about, don't they, the monster, they get to see the monster now, right?
Yeah, so the monster comes out of he comes on down the stairs. There's a little bit more about them, like talking about how they used a criminal brain in the monster.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like,
he finds out it was a criminal brain. Eh?
yes, only evil can come of this, says Waldem. So, you know. But Henry's like, whatever, man. Created life. Shut up.
Yeah. It really, this criminal brain takes away all of the kind of ambiguity of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Like the movie and the Wishbone book. It like, because the idea that, you know, you don't know if it was the way he was treated that made him evil or such and such. It's really the 1930s version of Artemis Fowl.
Oh, no.
All the moral ambiguity's gone. It's just like,
Yeah.
good and evil.
That's it. Pretty
Here's
much.
our weird film.
Yeah. No, it is such a shame because like Frankenstein plays so much better as a character when he's a tragic figure, right?
Yes.
Frankie, I mean. And also Dr. Frankenstein to some extent. And that they're like he's a victim of his own ambition and Frankie is a monster born unto the world that he didn't want to exist. And I think that's a more interesting angle that they sort of touch into in this movie a little bit.
I feel like they don't mean to, but Boris Karloff, who plays Frankie, is so good that you just project all the stuff into him.
Yeah, it could well be the case. But anyway, I think that would land better to a modern audience. But, you know, it's a product of the time, I suppose. But yeah, the monster comes on down the stairs and comes to visit the master, and he enters the room backwards, which is a power move. Like sort of moonwalks into the room, and then about faces, and we see there's a close-up crash zoom on his face, and he's just like crossing his eyes for no real reason.
He's got a lot of like heavy eye makeup on, I think.
Yeah, true.
That's doing this.
He's not like staring down the lens though. He's definitely like looking vacant. But yeah, it's a weird one. But here he is.
What
Here's our
did you
boy.
think of seeing like the Frankenstein that started? Because this was what started the idea of this is what Frankenstein's monster looks like.
Yeah.
Like, how do you reckon? What do you reckon?
I think it looks great. Like the makeup and
Yeah.
everything looks awesome. I think this was supposed to be a scary moment, but I super wasn't scared. Like it's just like there he is. There's our boy, title
Yeah, I've
character.
been waiting to see you.
Mic drop. But yeah, no, I think it was supposed to play scary at the time, But again, it was just so much history layered onto it that I couldn't possibly be scared by his introduction, I don't think.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, anyway, I was happy to see him. Here he is. He just sits down in a chair in time with the final crescendo of Us and Them solo. Like the very final note of the solo playing is him sitting down, which I like. And then, they open... There's a really weird bit where they like open the skylight window or like an upper window in the windmill to show the light outside, presumably the moon, unknown. And the monster just sort of raises his arms into the sky, Christ-like.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is for, but it's great. And it freaks out the guys, so they shut the window and Frankenstein just sort of lowers his arms.
Yeah.
Embarrassed.
Yeah, embarrassed. Like, oh, no, you guys were excited by the sun. I'm cool.
Yeah. It was him seeing...
I'm Jay Frankenstein.
Him seeing the sky for, like, probably the first time in his life, other than his, like, birth moment when he was outside, you know? Oh, man. Crazy.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I do love it, though. I do love the image of him raising his arms into the air. I feel like this should be used more often for things. But yeah, he's like, it's not like the typical way that Frankenstein walks as well, like sticking his arms out forwards as he walks, which I don't think he does very much in this movie.
No, I don't think at all. I think he definitely has the incredibly stiff arms.
Yeah.
Which I think was built into his costume.
Wow.
His arms were made extra heavy. His legs were as well.
Huh.
So that's like a real mission to lift your legs.
That's cool. That's a nice note for like the actor. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Actually, the amount of makeup and like weird costumes they had on this guy, Boris Karloff is the reason they now have the Screen Actors Guild.
Holy
like,
crap.
He was like, we need protection. Otherwise people are going to... Because he did 16-hour days.
Whoa.
In this outfit after 5 hours of putting the makeup on.
Holy crap. No, that's... Yeah, I can see why that would start like unionization. Holy moly. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, our boy, we get into Any Color You Like, and our boy the monster, Frankie, he gets freaked out by a lit torch, which is being carried by Fritz the assistant. Very scared of fire. Not at all explained why he's scared of fire. I always thought this was like part of the mythos with Frankenstein, but he super is. He's afraid of fire. It's a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's spooked, and so he goes to attack Fritz, and they tie him up and throw him in the cellar. The poor Frankie, where Fritz just goes down there and starts mercilessly whipping Frankie for no reason.
Yeah.
What is this for?
Is Fritz just jealous?
He's just being a jerk.
Like he's getting all the attention now?
Maybe. It's like, I made a new, better Fritz. Get out of here, old Fritz. I will call you new Fritz. But no. Yeah, like, it's so weird that he whips him. Like, Frankie did nothing wrong. Maybe it's just like he's treating him like a caged animal kind of thing, but...
Yeah, maybe Fritz is finally just happy that he's got someone, like, lower down on his, like, pyramid than him.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't pay off for Fritz.
No.
We hear screams from the cellar. We did note in B. We watched this movie with sound. Well, I did
same.
Because there's little to no soundtrack, and there is music that plays at some points, but it doesn't. It's not like there's a sweeping score over the movie or whatever. Most of the time, it's just dialogue. And so it was pretty ripe for playing with sound in the background, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really exciting, like, actually hearing things.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a shame, because I had to keep, like, fiddling with I was like a bad DJ. I was just crossfading one to the other to try to figure it out. Because, like, this movie would just get real loud at some point.
Oh, yeah.
To, like, impossible to hear.
Yeah, hard to hear the Floyd going on in the background, yeah. The only way is to just blast Floyd the whole time. And just try and pick up on the dialogue. Like, you're at a party where Floyd are, like, playing right next to your face.
Yeah, and you're trying to chat to your friend, Frankenstein.
Yeah, my friend Doc Frankenstein. What are you working on? What are you working on, mate?
Haven't seen you since you dropped out of school.
Who's Ray? Why do you keep talking about Ray? Yeah, anyway. Poor Fritz. Well, not really. Fuck Fritz. He dies.
Yeah,
He
Fritz
screams
sucks.
out, but it's too late. He's been hung with his own bloody whip, and serves him right. Shouldn't have been whipping
Yeah.
Frankie for no reason, you jerk. But anyway, it's the product of the criminal brain that this monster has committed a crime. Oh, it's no good. So they lock him away in the cellar. They sort of just leave Fritz in there as well. But yeah, the doctor tries to like rationalize his creation's behavior to the university guy Waldem, and yeah, tries to but he tries to convince him to kill the monster. He's like, "You got to kill it. You created life. You done it. You can publish a paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've got the results. You can yeah, take it out." That's the move. But they resolve to drug it. Old mate Waltham carries a syringe of like horse tranquilizer or something with him, and
Just at all times, as you do.
yeah, okay, dude. But yeah, they sort of trick the monster, poor Frankie, out into the open with a torch, aggravating him with the torch, dragging him towards the doctor, and then yeah, get him in the back with the old syringe, the classic rope-a-dope move.
Yeah.
Yikes. Anyway, yeah, the monster like even goes to strangle the doctor, but yeah, luckily the drug kicks in at a certain point on his dead flesh, and it goes down. Yeah, I don't even know if tranquilizer would work on like a undead body. Maybe it's hard. This is the kind of thing I think about. Casual necromancy. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, like, they've used science, like, as we understand it,
Yeah.
to bring this life back so that it is functioning as a living body.
I guess it would work, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably would have the same effect on like nerve endings, etc. But I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I only know about
No.
sinks and Floyds. That's all I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is at this point where our doc's father, the Baron, arrives with Elizabeth at the windmill again to check in on him. Poor timing. And so they drag the monster back into the cellar with the dead body that's still hung up there. It's like a comedy of errors happening here.
Yeah, exactly. Even more so than the previous comedy of errors scene. I wonder if they knew this would be funny. Or, like, this would be something that plays for laughs later.
I don't know. I hope so, because it's pretty great. Just
Yeah,
like,
did they foresee Weekend at Bernie's?
yeah, reminded me a lot of Clue, actually, where they're like trying to like avoid certain rooms.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Anyway, brain damage starts up as we get the Baron just sort of like being a bastard, curmudgeon, angry old man. And yeah, he's like, "I've come to take you away from here, son. You're caught up in your work. You're probably banging another broad. I don't know. Come on back home to my manor house where you have everything. Get from this weird windmill that you're hanging out in." And yeah,
We have wind at home.
We've got wind. We've got servants that can bring wind to you.
Yeah. You need not a mill.
You need not a mill. But unfortunately, the doctor just sort of faints. I think, presumably, like from the asphyxiation from his creation strangling him earlier.
Yeah.
It's just like short of breath, freaking out. His dad's here. You know, maybe a panic attack. I don't know. Sort of goes down anyway.
Yeah.
As we get into Eclipse, and yeah, they wake him up with a bit of brandy. The old classic. I presume this is how the Baron wakes up every day, like
Yeah,
with
a
a
servant pours brandy into his sleeping mouth.
and he just sort of shoots awake with a shock of alcohol. That's like the only way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the Frankenstein way, and so yeah, they wake him on up and they take him away, and there we go. Waldem says, "I'll take care of the monster." Winky face, and yeah, no one thinks anything of that, and it's sweet. Yeah, so he goes to destroy the monster painlessly. He has Frankie tied to a gurney, well, like sort of just sitting on it actually. Passed out still from the tranquilizer drug. And as we get into the end of playthrough 1, we get into heartbeats right at the end of the album, and then silence, and this is when our boy Frankie wakes up mid-surgery and strangles Waltham to death.
Yeah.
Dramatic. Terrifying.
His little eyelids sync quite well with the heartbeat sounds.
Yeah, man.
But then it kind of just feels like this murder happens over some silence.
It's real sinister, eh?
Yeah.
It's great stuff. And then, yeah, he sort of just, like, dashes awkwardly out into the night.
Yeah.
And, yeah. We cut back to Henry and Elizabeth on the idyllic estate grounds. This looks like Renaissance painting shit, where they're just chilling in these chairs surrounded by like greyhounds and grapes and palm fronds. They're having a grand old time surrounded by dogs. It's hilarious. It's very Wishbone.
Yeah. Well, Wishbone would only be one dog.
Yeah, true. Which one is Wishbone? Identify Wishbone in the scene if you can.
Yeah.
It's like an extra for experts homework. Henry, he goes over to Elizabeth. He's like, "Oh, I regret my actions, darling. I will wed you soon. Whenever you want. As soon as possible, let's get married." Oh my gosh. The Baron, so they do that. Elizabeth's like, "Sweet, let's get married like tomorrow." And they do. They cut to the ceremony. The Baron hands out traditional orange blossoms, which are a thing in the Frankenstein household, like an heirloom item that he's been handing out. It's kind of weird. Surely a flower wouldn't last this long. Maybe it's just like a thing that they grow them and then hand them out as like a corsage. Yeah. I don't know.
Or they keep bringing them back to life.
Whoa, it's the same flower. Yeah. Frankenflower. Maybe. Unknown. But yeah, they have a glass of wine in celebration over, and we're listening to Breathe, and it's all good vibes here. So it's wedding time. Breathe is playing. They give some wine to the servants, and that's all chill. Because
the wine's supposed to be really bad, right?
It's like really old. Like it's the Baron's grandmother or grandfather, I can't remember which, who had the wine. So it's like 200 years old. Probably tastes disgusting. But anyway, they all share it. And but everyone's kind of stoked. And then, party times out in the streets. Everyone's getting amongst in this wedding. It's people in like lederhosen dancing around. It's great.
Yeah, we're having to frantically turn the volume down on our Frankenstein to have two songs playing with the
turn that down and turn up on the run. It's a real cacophony of sound.
Yeah.
The Baron comes out and tells everyone that there's plenty of beer, and everyone cheers.
Yeah.
Which is sweet. It's a huge deal, the wedding. They've got like 50 to 100 extras just grooving away in the streets.
Gosh, I would have loved to have been one of the 1930s groovers.
Yeah, man. It'd be sweet. Great times. Yeah. Then we cut back to old Frankie, who's just sort of wandering around in the underbrush near a hunter's house. We see a hunter and his daughter, Maria, and he's like, "I'm going to go out and check the traps, and then I'll come back and we'll go to the wedding. It'll be sweet. I gotta do my job, do my due diligence. You stay here, Maria, and play with your cat." She's got like a tiny kitten with her.
Yeah.
Which I didn't notice at first, but then I saw it later on when they're down at the river. But yeah, she's just got a little cat with her. Very cute.
Oh yes.
And so the hunter goes away, and she sees the monster. Old mate Frankie comes out, and she doesn't freak out. She's like, "Oh, will you play with me?" Very innocent. And they sort of hand off flowers. They exchange flowers, as you do. The equivalent
it's
exchange.
It's a classic flower game.
Yeah, And Frankie's bloody loving it. He's having a great time. It's really adorable. This is like the kind of thing I wish there was more of, honestly. This like childlike wonderment at the world that Frankenstein should have. He takes the game a little far though, because she starts throwing starts throwing the flowers into the water, and they float along. It's great. And so he does that. It's great. And then he's like, well, I'm going to throw the girl in the water.
Yeah.
He takes it to the next step. And it's no good. She can't swim. And she drowns. The poor Frankie's face falls and he just sort of runs away. It's really tragic, honestly. He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't
It's
think...
interesting because there's no question that it was like an accident.
Yeah.
But like this was so controversial, this scene. Like
it's awful.
This was the reason it's so short and weird and kind of trimmed down and like you don't see like her land in the water or anything is just like they did not want this scene in a movie.
Man.
Yeah. And it's so funny though because like they had to reshoot it, I think, because like the censors were angry. The little girl was so tired and didn't want to do it. And they were like, we'll give you your favourite snack if you
get drowned again.
Yeah. And she did it, and she got 24 hard-boiled eggs.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Worth it. 24.
Yeah.
As a snack, girl. A snack? That's a lot of eggs.
Right?
You know the
cholesterol levels.
There's the saying, no man can eat 50 eggs.
Yeah.
But a young girl can eat 12. Man, that's insane.
That's what I've always said.
Yeah. But yeah, so my read on the scene is that it's, the monster doesn't know. He takes the game too far and doesn't understand what he's doing. But the movie would have you believe that this is a result of his criminal brain, probably, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's very, Of Mice and Men. I don't know if you've read the Wishbone version of that.
I haven't, no.
Where one of the men is a dog.
One of the men and all of the mice.
Yeah, all the mice are played by dogs. Like, this is way hard. Why didn't you just make these mice?
Nah. Of mice and dogs. Of men and dogs and mice.
Of dog and dog.
Yeah, oh no.
But yeah, and that, like, a character who's quite innocent, doesn't know his own strength and kills somebody. And, like... But, like, that could have come out way before this. And, like, there's no... It plays in the moral grey area in a way that this film is, like, terrified to try to do.
Yeah, not at all prepared for. I mean, probably, again, and as you say, the censors were, like, furious about this whole thing even existing in a film. Probably wasn't, like, ready for that kind of read on the scene at all, so...
No, there was a review that came out about this movie that they said, like, you'll like this kind of movie where a girl drowns if you like going to funerals.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What is this intense journalism? They've like
very judgy.
They've drawn like 5 air horns after that on the headline. Oh, just the shock jocks of the time and the local newspaper, you know.
The shock jock newspapers.
I guess the wireless existed, right, in 1931.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like on the radio talking about Frankenstein. You won't believe this.
And then they Morse code someone to like play a prank on them.
Oh man, yeah. Morse pranks. Yeah. They spend like hours decoding it and it's just like, is your refrigerator running? Oh man.
Yeah.
They're like, what's a refrigerator? Anyway, so yeah, syncs for this. The crash sound and On the Run only plays over them throwing flowers into the water.
Yeah.
And the clocks go off after the drowning scene as well. So it's the clocks sort of go off mid knee slapping lederhosen laden dance sequence that's playing out in the town. Yeah. Again, more whiplash. You see a girl drown and then it's just dudes dancing in the streets.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I feel like that's the real problem.
Yeah. But yeah, the clock's going off over that. So not crazy about the syncs there. But...
No, I am proud of myself though because I never noticed continuity errors. And like, I have to be told about them. Maria's cat just completely vanishes.
I think it wanders off, right?
Or he's in her arms, and then, like, with no time for him to vanish, he's out of her arms.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Unless it's what AJ, when he was on the show, was talking about, where we don't have the audio to cover a continuity error, so we see it way more, like, abruptly.
It's possible, yeah. There's just like some Foley sound of a cat going meow, and then like little like paw pad sounds.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. Ruh-roh. Oh no. This guy looks like Bad Muse. Oh no. Yeah, so we cut back to the dancing going on. Henry and Elizabeth meet before the wedding. Very bad luck.
Yeah.
Elizabeth's wearing her wedding dress and like a weird like bonnet thing instead of a veil. Looks kind of whack, but you know, fair enough.
The latest fashion burns from James.
Yeah, I don't know. 1931, you need to step up your game. What is this
Yeah.
bonnet business about? I don't know.
She gets Pink Floyd's Not Wear It of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. All the bridesmaids look great though. They all got like little hats on. They look sweet.
Yeah.
They look way better. Why didn't she get a hat, man? Come on. Anyway, yeah, they meet up and Elizabeth's worried. She's like, something bad's gonna happen. I don't have any reason for why I'm upset, but I sure am.
Yeah.
Dr. Waltham, the university friend, hasn't shown up. He's late for the wedding, and Henry's like, oh, that guy's always bloody late, always leaving brains around. Classic.
Yeah.
And yeah, Liz is like freaking out, basically for no real reason, because she's read the script, I guess.
Yeah, unless she has like some sort of latent psychic power, we're supposed to believe.
Oh, yeah.
Feels really strange.
Maybe. But yeah, she suspects that something's up, and she's worried
Yeah.
about losing Henry anyway. And
it syncs really nicely to the old dread drums of time as well.
absolutely. Yeah, dread drums is a great turn of phrase. I hope
Have I not used that on the show yet? I always write that down in my notes as the dread drums.
Dread drums. That's really
Time
good.
Goes Clocks, dread drums song, if you ask me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's my order of how it happens and which parts scare me the most.
Perfect. Yeah. I love that peek behind the curtain of Gareth's notes. But yeah, she's right to be worried because there's suddenly some news at the door, and Dr. Waldham has been murdered at the tower.
Yeah.
At the windmill. He's not going to make it to the wedding. You update the RSVP.
Yeah.
He's not.
Someone else can have his meal.
Yeah. +1 still going to be there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yes, they're certain at this point that the monster is somewhere in the house. No reason for this. I guess just like that the monster's like honing in on Henry and trying to find him. I don't know. Completely irrelevant, but anyway, he's around. So they go.
Is that why they lock Elizabeth in the house, in the room?
Yeah, for safety reasons,
okay.
I think. Yeah, they like lock her in and go hunting for the monster. They go all over the house, down to the cellars, etc. But bloody sneaky Frankie, he wasn't in the house at all. Comes through the window into Elizabeth's room that she's preparing in. Yeah, it's very like, it's kind of comedic how she doesn't see him in the room with him being so slow and him lumbering around and like doesn't see or hear him. Anyway, she finally sees him when he gets close, and she lets out like a scream, and he lets out this like little snarl sound. I really want to analyze this sound. He just sort of goes like,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, supposed to be scary, but it's not very intense. It's not like a big roar or anything.
Yeah, it's probably a complicated, like, I don't know if actors get briefs on the sounds they have to make, but like, because he's got to show that his character is still sympathetic, but also scary, and also as scared as she is, but also bad enough that we're supposed to be okay when, like, he gets killed. It's just a weird, like, it would have been a hard thing to carry in one.
It's a difficult thing to act, but I feel like it wasn't the right choice for a sound. But
No.
maybe
What would you have done?
I'd probably just did like a big old roar, like "Roar!" Like that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Go full Brian Blessed on it and just bust out like your pipes, start roaring at her. Yeah. And you can see like her hair flying back. That's what I would have done.
Yeah. Well, like Shrek.
Yeah. Big Shrek energy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, they hear her screaming, because she's not done screaming.
No.
And the monster tries to strangle her, but sort of gives up when he hears people at the door and just dives out the window. And Elizabeth is unharmed. She doesn't get strangled to death, thankfully. Here, she's all good. But unfortunately, we see the hunter wandering through the celebrations in the town. This is honestly a really cool shot of this guy just holding his lifeless daughter, like wandering through the town as people are like dancing happy around him, and they slowly like cotton onto what he's doing, like what's happening here. It's like really realistically done.
Oh, heck yeah. And he's acting the hell out of it.
Yeah, he's like completely shell-shocked, just staring forwards and walking forwards. It's, horrific. Really cool shot.
Yeah, honestly, one of the best shots of the film.
Absolutely. Sure. And he walks like straight up to the house, the manor house, as the crowd slowly gathers behind him and wants to know what the hell's going on. And we get the line, home, home again, as well, over this, coming up to the manor house. There's a huge crowd of people that has been established behind this guy, and they all want retribution for Maria's murder. She was a beloved child in the town, and everyone's pissed that she's been murdered. We get a great gig beginning as Henry is very worried about Elizabeth. She's completely fine, but he's very stressed about her, and the doctor resolves, he's like, I can't be married while my creation is still on the loose. And he's
weird way to put it, eh?
It's so weird. And then he goes up to Victor, our boy who's just been hanging around in the background, and he's like, I leave her in your care. You know what that means. No exceptions. It's like, what? It's so strange that he's like, it's like, if I were to die, you take the reins, Victor. My rival and friend. It's so strange. But anyway, that happens, and Victor's like, yeah, man, okay, sweet.
They probably, when they both met her, both called dibs or something, and because it was the 1930s, it was like, well, that's legally binding and perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So if I die, you get to marry my wife.
You get it, yeah. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Back in time.
And Victor's more of a catch, so...
For real, though.
Until we find out Victor's also building a super Frankenstein.
I mean, he's not old money like Frankenstein is, right? He's probably quite poor but very handsome or something, you know? I want to know what his upbringing and stuff is.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I want an extensive added sequence, another 20 minutes in the movie where we get into Victor's backstory. That's all I need.
That's the Frankenstein sequel that no one would ask for. It's just what Victor's up to.
The Victor story.
Yeah.
To the spoils go to the victor.
There we go.
Yeah. I butchered that saying, but anyway. So everyone gathers en masse to search for the killer. They all are basically certain that it's the monster. They're like, yeah, it's the monster that killed the girl. Straight up.
Yeah, which is...
Everyone's on board.
It'd be amazing if they did cut this scene, and they did cut that throwing scene, and then, we'd never know if the murderer had been the monster, because that's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah, basically, right? I mean, there's a monster on the loose, and it's got a criminal's brain, and
That's true. 1 + 1 plus criminal's brain does equal 3.
It does, right? But anyway, yeah, they're like, all right, let's all go out. They light torches, have a bunch of dogs. Wishbone's there. There's a wailing of Great Gig popping off as we get an angry mob. I feel like Great Gig and angry mob goes kind of well. It's not bad. I feel like On the Run and angry mob would be ideal, but I'll take it.
This is also the most pro angry mob movie I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this mob is extensive, and they're just well organized as well. They split off into 3 different directions to search different places. It's a proper search party to hunt this dude down. They're ready. They're searching the lake and the mountains and everywhere. It's crazy. We get into this there's a mountainous set that they've used. This mountain range that they've built on a lot, obviously, is wild. no mountains look this way,
No.
but they look sweet.
Yeah, they're awesome.
It's, I guess, supposed to evoke the like crazed temperament of the mob, maybe, but all the rocks look very intense, like huge towering peaks of things. It's wild. But yeah, they go out and hunt down the monster. It gets one of the dudes. It's like somehow one of the guys is like, oh, it went that way. It's just sort of lying on the ground, and they're hot in his trail. And Dr. Frankenstein takes this opportunity to go off on his own, sort of just wander off for some reason. And then, him and his creation face off. And on the mountaintop, they sort of just wrestle each other.
Yeah.
Father and son fighting it out up on the mountain.
As everyone must do, wrestle their father.
Yeah, defeat your father in single combat.
Yeah.
And then you are
a man.
Then you truly can marry Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Only then.
Then you get to be called Frankenstein, and the other one has to be called the monster.
There we go. Got there. But look, there's like a post-credits scene where it's like, we were both the monster.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, the monster straight up wins because he's got super Frankenstein strength, super monster strength, the strength of 10 men. I think it was said earlier. They knock out the doctor out cold, and just sort of drags him off to the windmill, his birthplace. It's pretty good. I don't know why he does this, but just to get away, presumably.
Yeah, I suppose it's like an animal homing instinct, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it carries him up the stairs as the villagers all gather around outside the windmill. Classic scenes. This is all stuff that I expected to see in Frankenstein, so I'm quite happy. And the doc wakes up inside the windmill, and they sort of look at each other through the windmill mechanism. The like millstone kind of thing, the gears that make a windmill work. Have you ever been in a windmill?
I haven't, have you?
I haven't either, but I want to. They like seem like really complicated things, but they're like very early stage technology. You know?
Yeah. I was quite impressed. You sounded like you knew a lot about windmills just then.
All right, I'll take it.
You said millstone?
Yeah, I know how a windmill do the milling. I know how it make the wheat flour. I know how it do it with the big millstone.
Okay.
The blades turn and they crank the gears inside, and that uses an axle, and then it turns a big old stone at the bottom, and that rotates round, and it crushes the wheat into flour. And that's what a windmill do.
Dang. So a windmill crushes.
Yeah, it grinds it up really.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow. I've been to a mill master's house.
I hope that's right. Anyway, a mill master. What's a mill master's house? How does that differ from a windmill?
So this is where the mill master used to live, but I think it was a water-based mill.
Ah, okay.
There are mills for each of the elements, and when they combine, they summon Captain Mill.
Captain Mill. There's Fire Mill and Earth Mill, which are used less frequently, but just as effective. Yeah. Heart Mill. The mill of the heart grinds the hardest, Garrett.
Yeah.
That's a saying that I am selling on my Etsy store, embroidered onto various cushions.
Yeah.
Yes. So they're looking through each other in the windmill mechanism, and then they have another little scrap, where it results in the doc's body being thrown off the top of the windmill, hitting one of the blades of the windmill and falling to the ground. Like, it's like a 30-foot drop that this sack in human clothing falls for. It's quite obviously like a rag doll, but it's kind of great. But yeah, this would definitely kill a person. Absolutely.
Yeah, the doctor's dead, right?
Super dead.
Like, he's got to be.
Yeah, the deadest man. The deadest man there's ever been.
I reckon they meant for him to be dead at this point, and then this other scene that's coming up, like, was tacked on.
The bloody Hollywood director, or the Hollywood influence, like, said, you can't have movie where a child is drowned and then a man is thrown 30 feet from a windmill and dies. You can't do it.
Big windmill stepped in. It's like, we are trying to rebrand it. Windmills are safe family fun, so
Look,
he has to live.
Fire mills are taking over the market, and this will destroy us. All right, everyone, we're gonna lose so much business. It's gonna be terrible. Oh my god. Yeah. So this guy would be super dead, but we'll find out later he's not.
Yeah.
At this point, though, for all intents and purposes, he's dead, and the villagers see this, and they're like, "Get him! Let's set fire to the mill and kill this monster for being a bad man, for committing 2 murders that we know of. Screw this guy." Poor Fritz's body also still probably hanging inside. Also, Dr. Waltham probably burns inside here after being strangled. Yeah, so a lot of body counts in this movie actually. Yeah, the monster like sort of screams, and we well established that he's afraid of fire, and runs around the windmill trying to look for an escape. He can't, and yeah, it's very tragic. Gets trapped under a beam that falls on him. And yeah, he just burns to death. It's awful.
It's so upsetting.
Yeah.
With or without Pink Floyd, I feel like this is upsetting to see.
Yeah, it's like over the end of Money, we just sort of pull back on this burning windmill on the horizon surrounded by lit torches and angry people. It's like, damn.
Yeah. I feel like James Whale, in his infinite whale wisdom, must have meant for this to play how we now kind of view it. Like, this is sad that this like kind of innocent big old monster's dying.
Yeah, it's like very Shakespearean tragedy, right? And that like the master dies, the like creator of this monster, and the monster didn't want to do any wrong, but it did end up doing wrong through no fault of its own. And like, it's very sad that it's destroyed by the hate of the villagers, you know? Yeah. That's the modern read on Frankenstein that I think exists out there, but...
Heck yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so any other film would end it here, but then... Oh no.
Oh no. We've still got a little bit more. We cut to the following morning, and the maids are gathered around the estate. Yeah, everyone's chilling. They've brought a bottle of wine to Henry, who's alive and recovering in his bed, waited on by Elizabeth inside. And the Baron's like, "Oh, a toast for my boy, who will still continue to marry Elizabeth in spite of creating a murder monster. Oh ho ho! What a happy ending to this film." And yeah, he just
he essentially like then raises the glass pretty much to the audience to be like, "Hey."
Yeah. Hey man, it's all good. Everything worked out. There's a happy marriage, and it only took 5 people dying. Yeah. In my notes, I've written final note. Honestly, this ending is bullshit. I hate this. I hate that it exists in this original version of Frankenstein, in this first film adaptation of Frankenstein. It sucks, you know?
Yeah, if this had been any remake, it would have been fine, but because this is the original, we have to, like, recognize it.
Oh, it sucks so bad. It's so boring.
Unless, this is something that popped into my head while we were talking about how Frankenstein, the doctor, definitely died.
Yeah.
What if, then, Baron Frankenstein has brought him back to life using illicit science, and that's why he's like a toast to the name Frankenstein?
Oh my god, that's such a sick twist. He like has all his notes and he's resurrected him on this. Well, the machines are all destroyed, but I don't know. Like Baron has he has a bunch of resources. He's the richest man in the village, right?
Yeah.
It could be like that. This is instead not like the following day. It's months later, and he's been resurrected and is perfectly fine. Man, that's a sweet take. That sort of fixes it for me.
Heck yeah.
All right, that's the canon.
It just kind of makes it like it never ends, the cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Elizabeth, though. Dang.
Yeah, exactly.
Marrying a yet another murder monster.
Yeah.
Although, he probably didn't have a criminal's brain, or maybe he did for creating the monster.
That's true,
had his own criminal brain inside of his brain space.
I mean, he definitely did crimes, thus
Yeah.
he has the criminal's brain.
There you go. That's all it takes.
Yeah, you do one crime, you get a criminal's brain for life.
And on that bombshell, what did you think and how did it sink?
I think it synced very well.
Yeah, there was a
I
lot
don't think
going on.
anything was as hot as that initial dig that hole.
Yeah, the gravedigger popping off.
Yeah. I think if the Gravedigger had stuck around, we would have got some dynamite sinks. But I'm still willing to go pretty high. What do you
Yeah,
reckon?
man, I'm willing to go high. I would have loved it if we had like a little epilogue from the gravedigger coming back at the end.
Yeah.
Being like, goes to show you should never rob a grave, and then we get credits rolling or something. Yeah.
Or like, always dig your graves extra deep to stop robberies.
There you go. Only
Yeah.
you can prevent grave robbers. Oh no. Yeah, no, I think it gets up there in the scale for sure. There was
Yeah.
a lot of sinks lining up, and yeah, it's like for such a short movie to have so many things going on. Pretty happy with that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 7 or 8 territory for sure. What about
Yeah.
yourself?
Yeah, let's give it an 8.
Yeah, 8 sounds great.
Yeah. 8 sounds great.
Plot it on the graphs, baby.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So all that's left is what are we going to do next week, James?
Well, next week, Gareth, you already know. I've already told you. I'm not going to leave any
Yeah.
mystery to the
We're not going to
listeners.
fake it. Every time we've like revealed it to each other on mic, it has been genuine.
Yeah.
This is the one time it's not because we're scheduling.
Yeah, we're trying to cram some episodes in, folks listening. So
Yeah.
we're going to be doing Life Aquatic, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I don't know the full name of the movie because it's so long, but it's
Yeah.
the Wes Anderson classic. Get hype.
One of my favorite movies.
Woo! Awesome.
Genuine, makes me cry. I'm
Aw.
very interested how to do a comedy podcast about it.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited as well.
There's a lot going on in the movie, so
Yeah.
we're going to have a lot to talk about. So get hyped for that.
Yes.
All right.
Ah,
There you
oh
go.
my goodness.
Close the book on Frankenstein. Close the Wishbone book. And yeah.
Man, shout out to... I might go watch some Wishbone clips after this. And
Sweet.
I advise all the listeners to do it too.
Yeah. Please do.
But until next time, I've been Gareth Blackler.
I've been Baron James.
And yeah, until then, only you can prevent grave robberies, and we'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
We'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Don't dig up graves. Please? That's a bad idea.